I was running wild, fell in love with it. I've been up and down and all over the place, wasting all my days and nights, never feeling satisfied. Putting on a smile, I was keeping it fake, but there's no imitating what I found in your grace. All the things I left behind as shadows, now I've seen the light. In my head and my soul, my heart, my all, I know that I know, never, never have I ever found a love so good, so good. Never, never am I ever getting over living with you. You'll change it. All I can say is never have I ever found a love so good, so good. I've got a million reasons why I can't be the same. You've got me looking forward, never turning my gaze. Forever, God, it's you and I, together till the end of time. In my head and my soul, my heart, my all, I know that I know, never, never have I ever found a love so good, so good. Never, never am I ever getting over living with you. Nothing will change it. All I can say is never, never have I ever found a love so good, so good. Your love is patient, love is kind. Your love is never hard to find. Forever I am yours and you're mine. Alright, oh. Never, never have I ever found a love so good, so good. Never, never am I ever getting over living with you. Nothing will change it. All I can say is never, never have I ever found a love so good, so good. Never have I ever known. Oh, never have I ever known. Is running wild, fell in love with the chase. I've been up and down and all over the place, wasting all my days and nights, never feeling satisfied. Putting on a smile, I was keeping it fake, but there's no imitating what I found in your grace. All the things I left behind as shadows, now I've seen the light. In my head and my soul, my heart, my all, I know that I know, never, never have I ever found a love so good, so good. Never, never am I ever getting over living with you.
We are live at Remix. Welcome everyone.
Ta-da!
So good to have you guys here. I'm here with Sam and Joe. Hey boys, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Oh man, so good. Thanks for holding the fort for me last week when I was moving house. As those of you on the stream can see, I'm in my lovely new kitchen. Please ignore the dishes.
Oh yeah, how's the new place? How's it looking?
It's nice, man. Although unpacking is almost worse than packing up your house, because like you spend so long going through everything and putting it in boxes, and then you're like, oh, now I've got to take them all out and find something for it. You're like, you think you're done, you've moved in, you think you're done, and then you're like, oh, actually, I'm literally only halfway through this whole process. So
Yeah.
frustrating, but I'm glad to be back with you boys. What have you been up to this week?
Lounging around the house mostly.
It's a hard life, man. It's a hard life.
I know.
How is online church for you boys?
How has online church been? It's been different, hasn't it? It's got its pros and cons, I think. Obviously, missing seeing people in person, but also it's just really cool the amount of people that seem to be engaging everywhere that may not have necessarily engaged otherwise. On the other side of it, there's people who genuinely, find it difficult. So I'd say a mixture. There's positives and there's also things which maybe aren't so positive as well.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. What about you,
I've
Sam?
I've been really enjoying online church. I think it's been really, really good to still be able to meet. It's been great. The church I go to is really mixed up how they do kind of their midweek kind of Bible study as well. So we're watching a video together and breaking to have discussions, which is really nice. So there's definitely that community. It's with the same like small group kind of thing. And then on a Sunday after the live stream, we then meet on Zoom in our different kind of small groups to chat. So it still feels like there's that element of community, which is really, really nice.
Small groups seems to have been a big thing. I mean, it's a big thing before, but it seems to be really key. And I kind of wonder if that's one of the things that is going to come out of this at the other end, that actually maybe we see that maybe sometimes smaller groups is better.
Absolutely, and I think that's where like youth groups play such a big part as well. So for you guys watching, coming to youth group and participating in what is essentially your small group I think it's vital, man. I think it's so good. We miss you. I don't know about you guys, but I'm missing my youth groups, man. We do Zoom youth group, but it's just not the same. I want to be able to like throw eggs at kids and stuff now.
You're missing them because you want to assault them, basically.
Well, you know what? I'm such a relational kind of guy. No, I'm genuinely missing them, and I think I think I'm looking forward to if things go well, easing of lockdown and being able to do something maybe in person relatively soon. But we'll see, won't we? I guess we'll see.
Hoping that'll be something near the summer. That would be so good.
Yes.
The weather's getting better to then do something in a park, socially distant, hang out. That'd be so cool.
It'd be epic, wouldn't it? It's so nice.
Yeah,
I'd love it if we could get all of the youth together from all the different churches and do like a remix in person or something. That would be really cool, wouldn't it?
That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
But everyone has to stay 2 meters apart, so we have to like take over all of Castle Park or something.
That would be pretty cool.
Which would be awesome.
There you go. Why don't you guys comment down below if you think that's a good idea? Let us know.
I'd love to see the drone like footage of that. If you had a drone fly over the top, everyone kind of just 2 meters apart.
Yeah.
You'd like set people up spinning to make sure they don't hit each other.
Yeah. As long as it doesn't end up being a police drone, because we've done it too soon.
Yeah, that's true. The footage would still be good though. We could use that for all of our youth promos. But like, come to this youth group. We're so edgy. We get the police coming to our stuff. Is that a good thing? I don't know.
I'm not. Who knows?
It's the thing.
Yeah, it's a thing.
We'll have to find out maybe.
Yeah.
So,
we're not condoning breaking laws, by the way.
No, we are not. That's true. Not all the time, anyway.
No.
Hey, so I wanted to talk to you boys about obviously something that's been happening in the news that we've all seen, and obviously everyone watching this, and it's been unavoidable. All the stuff that's been happening in America with the protesting and the Black Lives Matter movement, all coming to a head based off the murder of George Floyd by a police officer. Obviously, before we even start talking about this, for you guys watching, we are aware that it's not the best idea for 3 white guys to be talking about racial issues. However, we do feel like we need to speak up and explain how we feel, what we feel we can do, and what we think you guys can do. We don't want this to be. We don't want to be silent on this issue. Basically, we don't want to pretend. you know, we love doing Remix. We love having fun, hanging out with each other and challenging each other and doing stupid banter things. But actually, this is really important, and so we don't want to miss the chance to talk about it. So yeah, I just wondered if you guys might want to share your initial reactions or any thoughts, and we'll go from there for a little bit.
I mean, I when I watched the footage, the 9 minutes footage of what happened to poor George Floyd, I genuinely didn't have words at that moment. The word disgusting doesn't do justice to what happened, and kind of linked to what you were saying, Davy. I'm aware with all of this that my voice in many ways is not the most important one. I thought it was disgusting, but I didn't sit and watch that footage and be thinking that could have been me. You know, if I ever have kids, hopefully, I will most likely not be sitting there worrying about whether that child is going to get marked down in their job prospects because of the color of their skin. You know,
yeah, right.
I'm never going to know what it's like to feel like that. But what I can do is I can stand in solidarity with those who are in that situation and say racism is disgusting. It is wrong. And we have to seriously look, all of us as white people, we have to look at where we are complicit in it, where we are just letting it slide by. I've been listening to a book recently called The Color of Compromise. And the more I've listened to it, the more I've thought, you know what, I am so ashamed of myself that I did not know more about this stuff before, that I did not take the time to know more about this stuff before. And actually, I want to apologize for that. I want to say I'm sorry for that. I want to say I'm sorry about where I've been complicit in this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. I think it's
okay.
It's been you know, it was tough footage to watch, wasn't it? Anyone who has seen it the whole way through, and I think what's just become more apparent to me is how unaware I was of just how horrible and evil racism is. I think it's been my natural default to think of racism as the really big outward shows of racial slurs or, you know, burning down property. But there's that subtle racism, isn't there, that just seeps into systems and oppresses. And that's what I'm becoming more aware of. I think equally as Joe and Davy said, I'm very aware that I won't ever be able to fully understand. But I'm starting to ask questions because I'm seeking to understand. And that's my heart. That's my position, is that I want to understand. I want to have empathy, not sympathy or being patronized, but genuine empathy and compassion. I want to be able to hear people's stories and be moved into action. And I think one of the key things from this for me is, you know, starting to look in and just assess my own heart. Okay, so what is it in me, as you were saying, Joe, what is it in me that has been complicit in the different prejudices that I've had towards people in the past? How am I going to allow those things to just completely dissipate, to just lay off those things that I've been taught and the things that have just kind of rubbed off on me? How do I make those things, you know, just go away? And I've been asking God as well a lot to just change me, that I really genuinely would have the same love for all people, no matter their backgrounds, no matter where they're from, the color of their skin. So yeah, it's been really tough in one sense to look at it with fresh eyes and try not to keep a distance, but to look at the issue square in the face and say, I've been complicit. in the past. And I know I might not have said it out loud, I might not have posted it on social media, but in my heart, I've been complicit with the thoughts that I've had. And so it's been very refining process for me. And I'm just so glad that we believe in a God who forgives, but he also restores and helps us to change, to be different in this world.
Yeah, that's great. I think so. I'm very aware that this is such a hot topic, and what we can't do as youth leaders and as white peoples, we can't just let it fizzle out and die away for us. I think we are responsible for our actions, and as Sam's saying, being changed from the inside out. And the out part is something I'm quite interested in as well. So how can we practically help and make a difference? And I just want to say to you guys, if you're watching this and you're white and maybe you're feeling a little bit attacked, this is not about you. It's not about how you feel. It's actually about how we can be a force for good in this world, how we can be like Jesus. Because I don't know if you guys agree, I assume you do, but Jesus was kind of like the most outspoken person in the world. He was a protester by nature. And so when you see all these protests of people asking for civil liberties and stuff like this, you know, then it reflects Jesus's character. And I think for us to stand with the black community, as has already been said by you guys, is the right thing to do. And what we can do practically is we can look at ourselves, like Sam's saying, but probably one of the most difficult and uncomfortable things we can do is actually challenge our friends and families when they have attitudes that don't reflect Jesus and don't reflect an equal footing for all peoples. So I don't know if you guys have had experiences of that, but I've certainly have, where I've tried to challenge people, friends, family, and it doesn't always go well, and it doesn't always feel good, but it is actually, that's one of the main things we can do. And the other main thing we can do is listen to the voices of these communities. Like Joe's saying, you know, reading up, doing your research, listening to podcasts, watching videos, understanding what life is like for people who don't look like you. More than anything. But guys, I guess, any other thoughts?
I think one of the main ones which has stuck with me, particularly over the last week, while sort of going backwards and forwards at various points, as to whether I should whether I should be spending the time listening to other people and listening to people in the black community and hearing their voices, because that's really, really important, or whether I should be actually speaking up myself and saying, actually, I'm with these people. And I think I've come to the conclusion that it's got to be both at the moment. In an ideal world, it would be just the listening to black people. But the problem is that with all of this, if you look back through history, these are constructs and things which have been put in place, being blunt here, by the white community, by us, by our ancestors. And we're still the ones in that position of power. And so if we really want things to change, we have to be intentionally, as white people, not only listening, but also intentionally pulling down those walls that we and our ancestors have created. We have to be doing that alongside them. And so that means we've got to, as painful as it is, we've got to step up. I've got to step up. I have definitely got to step up.
Yeah, likewise. I think it's, you know, for us, for those who profess to be Christians, it's important for us to go back to the Word and just see right from the beginning of time in Genesis, God made us male and female in his likeness, in his image. He made us equal. And coming through into the New Testament, you know, salvation, God's gift of grace is for all people, for the Jew, for the Gentile, for the slave, for the free, for male, for female. It's for all people. And so that means everyone has intrinsic value, no matter where they're from, no matter their background, no matter what they've done, no matter the color of the skin, no matter the gender. And also that God's love is for everybody as well. And I think that's a real challenge for us to genuinely believe that Bible truth and live it out as well.
Mm. But on that, I think that there is hope that this can come as well. You know, we're called as Christians to pray that God's kingdom comes. In the book of Revelation, we see a great illustration of what the kingdom looks like and what it will look like when we see it in its entirety. And I'll just read it quickly as we're kind of talking about it. Revelation 7:9 says, after this I looked, and there before me was a great multitude that no one could count, from every nation, tribe, people, and language, standing before the throne and before the Lamb.
That's so good. So good.
Love. Yeah.
This has been addressed in a lot of other places as well. We just wanted to add our voices to the conversation, really. If you are watching this and you have questions, even if they're disagreements, please contact us. We're not afraid of sitting down and chatting about this. You know, all three of us have a long way to go ourselves. None of us have nailed it. We are only vaguely aware of what we get for being this colour skin instead of another colour. So we want to have open dialogue and conversation. So please please contact us if you do have things you want to say. But I think we've covered it reasonably well, as best as we can today, I think. So if you do have anything you want to say, if you want to have a safe conversation with people who are going to try their best not to judge you and try and help you understand things, please talk to us, because we'd love to really help. Shall we pray and then we'll move on? I feel like that'd be a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Father, we just want to lift up the situation that's happening in the States. God, we grieve with the family of George Floyd and so many others who have lost relatives to brutality, and basically all stemming from a group of people thinking that they're better than everyone else, God. And we know that it's not your kingdom. We know that it's not who you are. And God, we just ask that we can be better reflections of you, and that we can help express your love and your justice in whatever way we need to. Amen.
Amen.
Cool. Heavy stuff over. Let's have a chat about something else. So you guys set a challenge last week that I think we've all participated in. Sam, was it your challenge that you set, or was it
I think Sean said it. Set based on Nailed It. I don't know if you've seen it on Netflix, but a series where complete amateurs are set to make up a cake by a pro. So yeah, I think it was Sean's challenge, but we set out, didn't we, chaps? We set out to try and take on a cake. I don't know if we've got an image of it coming up.
We do. Image is just coming up now.
Amazing.
So it's a very good looking cake. I believe didn't your wife make this one?
Yeah, I made it for a good friend. Yeah, my wife made it for a good friend. For I believe their 60th. I think that's what it says on the cake.
Yeah. So Joe, I don't know about you, but that feels like he's got a slight advantage. You know, having literally an expert in the same house.
It's literally home advantage.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Literally home advantage.
Well, I feel like, you know, I did have an upper hand, that I had the equipment that I could use. Had the cake turntable. I'd obviously watched Naomi make cakes before, so I kind of understood some of the principles. However, I would say understanding the principles does not always equal good or skillful practice, as you'll find.
Well, basically, when you look at the cake, you've got to remember how much of a head start he had, and then judge whether his cake is really good enough in those circumstances.
Exactly. And we want your comments to tell us who you think has done the best job. So this is the cake. It's over this way. Yeah, it's over this way. This is the cake. Now, so as you can see on top, there are some extra things. Did anyone have a go at making like a fondant hammer or a buttercream? Is it some nails on top there as well? Anyone have a go at that?
I did some buttercream nails and a buttercream hammer, but
incredible.
I'm not sure you would call them that when you see them.
No is my answer.
Well, I'm going to pretend that I did. I'm going to show you guys mine first because I'm relatively proud of this. Although these guys will know that my first attempt was an absolute epic fail. So I sent them a picture of this pancake flat cake that was supposed to be about 3 times the size. I have not included a picture here today of that because I'm so ashamed of the work that I did. And I wallowed in my own self-misery for a good hour and then continued on with life. But this is what I created. Unfortunately, no fondant hammer from me, but there is a real hammer on top of mine. But I sent you guys a picture. What did you think?
I was quite impressed, to be honest.
Yes.
I quite liked it.
Yeah.
It looks like the sort of thing I would want to eat, put it that way.
Yeah. There is a lot of ganache on it, so it is so rich.
Oh,
The
ganache
glaze,
is the way to my heart.
the glaze on that chocolate ganache is like, it's unbelievable. Plus the wood effect around the outside, very skillfully done.
Oh.
Yeah.
The very realistic hammers, hammer and nail. Love it.
My wife asked me if I washed the hammer before I put it on the cake, and I did not tell her the truth because I did not wash it.
Have you all had tetanus injections? That's the main thing before you eat that cake. So there you go.
You'll be all right. You'll be fine.
You know you're onto a winner with a cake if before people eat it, you're going to ask them whether they've had tetanus or not.
Yeah, so maybe that's a few marks down for me. My cleanliness was not as good as it should be. But shall we have a look at Joe's?
Yeah, let's see.
So Joe, talk us through your design aesthetic.
Well, I decided to go for realism because I'm a Christian. I'm a man of the truth, and I like to see myself as connected to reality. And I didn't know how to make a fondant hammer. So basically, mine is the site, what that cake would look like now. And the problem is there couldn't be any work going on the cake because people can't stand 2 meters apart on it. So mine is a safety conscious, legally within the law, cake of a site, of a building site.
Yeah.
Boom.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Although it looks like no work has begun in this building site.
Well, no, it doesn't. I mean, the cake is quite small, so they've got as far as flattening the land.
Yeah.
They were about to put in solid foundations, and then the announcement was made. It's gathered some dust as well, as you can see, because obviously it's been closed for best part of 10 weeks now. I'm surprised that the paper sign has survived that long in the rain, but it's a building site and they're good quality, and they spent a lot of their time, rather than building, creating that sign. They definitely haven't got very good handwriting though.
They spent more time on the sign than the actual building site.
Yeah.
Well, it's like a lot of builders I know.
Yeah, it's about health and safety, isn't it? That's what it's all about.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, I've got a little kind of like boomerang video that Sam's done of his finished cake, which I'll show now. Of these guys on the turntable, it's displaying the added equipment that he had on the turn. I mean, look at that cake. That's phenomenal, isn't it? That's such great work. Two tiers.
Feel humbled.
It's such a realistic tape measure as well. How did you do that?
Well, it was actually, Sugarcraft.
Oh wow!
Yeah. I nicked it from my toolkit.
Just to check, was
go on.
No, keep going. I'll come in a sec.
Well, I was going to say I genuinely did want to have a go at building stuff out of fondant. It looks like a lot of fun. However, it's lockdown, and I didn't want to queue for that long to get into a supermarket to buy fondant. So I decided to just go with what I had. So the saw, you can see the very realistic saw, is cardboard, painted in silver. Brilliant. With buttercream, silver buttercream. But,
such great.
Can I just ask, is that how quickly the turntable was turning around while you were trying to do the icing?
You spin it really fast.
I mean, there was no skill involved when I was spinning. It was a nightmare to behold.
Oh, brilliant. Well, guys, you need to comment down below who you think has done the best copy of the original. I'll put the picture of the original back up again, and we'll go through them all so you can see. So this is the original here. None of us replicated the sign. I did think about it, but I uttered it license. That's what I'm saying. And here is my my attempt. Let's just leave it at that. And then Joe's. Do you have a title for your cake, your piece of art?
COVID cake.
COVID cake, love it. And then, of course, the whirling dervish, which is Sam's.
The whirling. I like it.
Whirling dervish.
I like it.
So, Sam, you actually sent us a video as well. Shall we show that? Probably be quite a good time for it. So you shot a bit of a video about what it was like to make the cake, didn't you? So
yeah. Let's have a look.
Cool. We'll have a look.
Okay, so it's time for the Nailed It challenge. We're going to be making the cake, which I'm really nervous about. I'm not really sure how it's going to go, but I've preheated my oven to 170 degrees. I've got stuff sorted, ready to go behind me. As you can see here, excuse the mess. So yeah, next up we're going to finish making the cake mix and get it in the tins. See how it goes. Oh, yeah, cake buddy. Cake buddy. Oh yeah, it's hot. Oh yeah, get in that oven. Oh. While these cakes are baking behind me, I've just been thinking a lot about comparison as I'm doing this Nailed It challenge and going to be comparing what I'm creating against someone who is very skilled and knows what they're doing. And you know, comparison's one of those things in life that it's very easy to do, isn't it? To think that either we're better than someone else, or to look at other people's lives and skills and talents and possessions and families and think, oh man, I wish I had that. And if I had that, then I'd feel better. So we can either try and make ourselves feel better by comparing, or we can really beat ourselves up by comparing to others. And just thinking at this time, it's really important to try not to compare with other people. We're each unique. We have different gifts, skill sets, we have different situations, we have different things that we're handling and that we're juggling. And so to compare can only sometimes make us feel worse or make us feel better, but at someone else's expense. In which case, that's not a good way to go. I've been reminded of this verse in the Bible, in the New Testament, where it says, let's just go ahead as we are, not pridefully or enviously comparing ourselves with other people, but be the person that God's created us to be. And I think that's just so helpful, to try as hard as we can not to look at other people and wish we had their life, or look at other people and kind of be like, I'm so glad I'm not like them, because that just does something to our hearts that just isn't good for us at this time. It does something to our minds that's not good or helpful. So I just want to put that challenge out there. Try not to compare yourself to other people, but recognize you're unique and your situation is unique. But God can be with you. He can give you peace wherever you're at, whatever's going on in your life. The cakes are out. Look at these beauties. Beauties. So there you have it, guys. There it is. My attempt with a cardboard saw. I didn't have fondant icing, so I made the most with cola laces and buttercream to make everything else. Not bad. Not bad at all.
Nice. Awesome. Well done, Sam. What a great effort.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks. Yeah, sorry everyone here watching about the awkward silence during that. I did have a version with a backing track that would jazz it up a bit, but yeah. apparently that didn't go through. So
I don't know, man. I
so
quite enjoyed the awkward silence. I also
I
was
did.
impressed
That's good.
at how long it took you to ice it, because I definitely didn't take that much care over my icing. I think I was a bit annoyed by the time I got around to icing it, and I was just like, you know what? Let's just put it on and see what happens.
Yeah, I did mine in 2 seconds. So I did the cakes and then left them, and then did the icing the next day.
Nice.
So I think I'd come back in that fresh mindset where I wasn't like, ooh, just get it all done.
Aye, right.
And I
Yeah.
loved what you said about not comparing yourself to others, because that's so easy to do, isn't it?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
And so I hope you will remember that when you're judging these cakes.
yes. Very, very good point. So, yeah, so make sure you comment down below and tell us who you think got the closest to nailing it, basically, because, well, we know that Sam had so many head starts. He was so far ahead of both Joe and I to begin with. Let's just put that out there. You know, he had an expert on hand the entire time. And yes, we saw a time lapse of him putting it together, but, you know, you can fudge that sort of footage. You know, we're not experts, so... But he had one, so you know. Just remember that when you're saying who you think's done the best one.
That's fair enough. To be fair, actually, looking at the photos, I think we all put on a pretty good show.
I'm impressed with us.
I'm impressed. I thought we did quite well.
Yeah, well done, boys. Well done.
Yeah.
Now, do you want to see something that's not very impressive at all, though?
Always.
Yes. Yeah.
So we got set a challenge last week to do this capoeira move that you sent to us.
Yes.
So basically, I'll try and explain it. You can tell me if I'm wrong. So you're basically kind of doing a very small handspring back over your head, and it's quite low to the ground. Is that a good description of what you have to do?
That's a very good description. It's almost like kind of like a back handspring, but slightly sideways, like a back handspring cartwheel over your head. It has a lot of different names, so for this we'll just call it the capoeira move.
Capoeira move. So here is my attempt at doing this capoeira move. I am so sorry to anyone who actually likes this sort of thing, because I am, as I explained in the video, this is not my forte. Let's check it out. Anyway, I'm going to watch the video now and see if I can work out how to do it. I'm terrified. I don't know if my body can do that. Alright, okay. This is literally the first attempt, okay, I've ever done. I'm not very flexible, just an FYI, and I'm not very, I have very poor balance, so wish me luck. I better not hit the roof as well. Body just doesn't want to do it. Number 2. I'm really just doing a cartwheel, that's all I'm doing. 4. By the way, this is like literally the only time I have to do it. My daughter is asleep, my wife is asleep. I have to get this done now. If I don't get it now, this is as good as it's going to get. All I'm doing is a cartwheel. 5. So I think what I'm doing wrong is I'm not pushing off my feet, but I've never been able to do a backflip or anything like that. So I really struggle with trying to go back over my head because I'm really worried about hurting my neck, because I've fallen on my neck before. So I'm going to give it one more go. I'm going to try and push off on my feet and go back over my head. Sean, Sam, Joe, this is as good as it gets for me, okay? Sorry boys, that is as good as it's going to get. I don't have any time to do it again, but I tried, I guess. So what do you think? What do you think about my attempts there?
I thought you gave it a pretty good go. I think I do think you made it harder for yourself doing it inside.
Yeah.
Because then you're nervous about like stretching your legs out and like coming down and hitting something, particularly in a new property, you know. Made it hard for yourself. I'm sure there was that plan through your mind.
That did go through my mind. I did make sure I could just like, almost not touch the roof first, but I was technically on daddy duty, so I was I couldn't leave the property.
Okay, well, yeah, that's fair enough. But no, I thought you did very, very well. I think to start with more confidence, and you know, to overcome that fear is so challenging, though, isn't it? Of going over your head, it's so unnatural.
Yeah.
But you know, I think you gave it a good go. Your hand placement looked good on most of the attempts. Your legs followed the path they were supposed to. So I say good going.
Thank you. I felt very bad about it, but thank you.
No, I thought you did a great job.
So Joe, it's your turn to attempt that next week. I think. Yeah.
Okay, I'm happy to give that a go and put you all to shame.
Yeah, I bet you will. I think so. For me, it was the fear. Of,
I really won't.
The fear of going over my head. So I don't know why it was something that I was quite afraid of, because like it shouldn't be that much of a big deal. Hundreds, thousands, millions of people can do backflips, but just for me, it was such a struggle, and I need to. I guess that's a fear I need to overcome, because it says in the Bible that perfect love, for knowing God, casts out all fear. So actually, I should be able to trust that I can do it. Like kind of like you're saying, Sam.
Yeah. I mean, other than the fear of paralysis, there really isn't anything to be scared about.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and what is paralysis really, other than just
yeah.
incredibly debilitating?
Yeah. Just another note there. We're not in any way belittling paralysis for
Not
anyone
at
who's
all,
listening.
No.
Not at all.
Sorry, I'm glad you're here to censor me, Joe.
Yeah, glad we put you on.
So I think I've got a challenge for us for next week, because we're coming very rapidly to the end of our time. I want to show you this video of which I found of people eating slices of lemon and keeping a straight face. I think we should attempt to eat an entire lemon like you eat an apple, right? You should be able to bite into it. And,
Like rind and all.
And rind and all, yeah, absolutely, because the rind is edible. And just try and consume it like you would an apple.
Sure.
So here's some footage. You guys have a look at this.
I mean, I'm up for it. It's doable. Is probably the right word for it.
Is it worth like trying to scald your tongue beforehand so that you don't taste the sourness? Like drink really hot tea and then go for it.
Well, that's a good question.
So basically,
That is a
give
good
yourself
question.
excruciating pain so that you don't have to go through the excruciating taste.
Exactly.
Perhaps.
I'm thinking.
There you go. Well, perhaps. So what do you think? You guys up for it?
Yeah, I'm up for it.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I might even do it while I'm doing the parkour thing.
Yeah, do it at the same time. You might as well.
Yeah.
2 birds, 1 stone.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, I'm happy to give it a go. Let's do it.
Let's do it. It's just
Yeah.
one lemon. Can't be that hard.
Exactly. And we look forward. Those of you watching, we look forward to you voting next week as well. So make sure you join us as well, so you can vote next week. And please be voting for the cakes as well. And we want to hear from you.
Yeah, and share this video with your friends as well. If you think some of your friends would like to see some slightly grown-up adults make some big fools of themselves, this is what we're here for.
Yeah, that's what we're here for.
Mm-hmm.
Right, we've pretty much run out of time, boys. Does anyone have any last thoughts you want to share? Anything that's on your mind before we fade out?
Nothing from me. How about you, Davey? Have you got anything?
Joe, anything? No?
No.
All right. Well, I guess, guys, I just hope you guys are keeping safe. I know we're still in lockdown, and some things are easing. Some of you might be going back to school in a little bit of time, not too far away potentially. Our prayer for you is that you feel safe to do so, and that you feel that you can thrive back at school and get back into a bit of a routine there. If you are still at home and you're still going to be be homeschooled. We just pray that you continue to have a really, really fruitful experience, and keep asking God about what you can do, how you can get closer to Him, and how you can, be like Jesus in your world and experience Him in a better way. But we love you guys. We are gonna leave you in peace now, and we will see you next week. Take care, guys. Good to see you, boys.
See you
Take
next
care.
week.
Yeah, good to see
You
you guys.
too.
Easy.